We're going to have going today. Here's your track facts here for the Expo Raceway, the SageNet Center, this racetrack that exists for 1 month a year, thereabouts. Quarter-mile purpose-built track. They have used that exact same clay for all 39 years of it. And come Saturday, this building will get a lot more full. You'll see the pit grandstand fill up quite nicely as everybody getting tuned up with the shootout before our own Chili Bowl Nationals coming up just a few weeks away here on Flow Racing. Driven Performance presents the track facts for you. Guys, last night, 25 Outlaw Wing heat races there in the books. Today, we finish all heat races for 4 more ARVA divisions, and then eliminator races will end our night here on a, is it Friday?
Today's Thursday.
My week is all screwed up already. Rod and Supply bringing us your speed shot coming in and through the corner as you see the drivers first down the ramp, rolling some of that moisture in. It'll be heat race number 26 overall of the event. But we need to introduce you to the rest of our team. First and foremost, let's go and talk to Connor Wade. Good morning, Connor.
Good morning, guys. One of the guys that stood out last night was Tommy Koonsman, 9-2 in Wing Outlaw, your high point man in that division. Today, I should say, this morning, he shifts his focus to non-Wing Outlaw, just like everybody else. I asked Tommy how he felt last night. He said, well, pretty lucky, and he needs more of that today in non-Wing Outlaw if he's going to be high point man again in this division. Last night, 9-2 in that Wing Outlaw heat. He'll start 8th in the non-Wing Outlaw heat tonight. He said the main focus, just trying to salvage as much points as you can going down early when the track's not quite super racy yet. He said even an 8-5 is going to get him into a qualifier. Doesn't necessarily expect the heat race to make his week in non-Winged Outlaw, but hoping that it's just enough to set himself up in a good position for the rest of the week. Starting all 4 A mains in stock and Outlaw is a goal that every driver that runs all 4 divisions comes in with, and it's a very feasible one for Tommy Koonsman. Off to a good start last night, trying to keep it up. Let's go to the infield with Brian Ward.
Thank you, Connor. I talked with Gravel a little bit this morning about the street sweeper, what his thoughts were on it, how well he thought it went. He agreed that it sped up the program a little bit. It did what he needed to do, but he wants to get more out of it. He said when he was putting too much pressure on the broom part, it would kind of stall out a little bit. So they're going to work on opening some valves, get it to where they can put more pressure on it, try and scar it up just a little bit more, but they don't have to till it up. They can just get that rubber off the surface to where it blows right off the racetrack. He showed me the differences in some of the dark clay that had the rubber in it versus what he wants it to be with the moisture without the rubber sticking to it. So he's going to play with it some more, keep experimenting, and we'll see how the rest of the event goes. And now I think we're going to go back up to the top of the ramp. Chris Moore.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Here at the tech area, they come off the racetrack, up the ramp, right here to the scales. They got to come across, make weight, and then your heat race winners will come across the scales. They pull them off to the side here, and they take tire samples and fuel samples from all of our heat race winners throughout the week. Last night, Cohen McDaniel, the winner of heat number 16, was disqualified for illegal fuel. So they test the fuel and tires right here on site. Unfortunately for Cohen McDaniel, illegal fuel, so he'll have work to do in a D main tonight. But these guys, everybody wants to get that heat race win, but you got to be able to pass tech when we're all done. We'll head back to the booth with the guys as we get set to go racing here on day number 2 of the Tulsa Shootout.
I appreciate you, Chris Moore. Thank you very much. We also saw from social media they had confiscated some tires before the event had even started, so taking tech seriously as they normally do here at the Tulsa Shootout.
Yeah, and that fuel issue with Cohen McDaniel, remember here at the shootout, you have to purchase your fuel here on site, and the staff has added a coloring mechanism to it, so when they test it, if it doesn't come up with that color, then they know that that fuel was bought off property, and thus the disqualification. So, lots of rules that you have to pay attention to when you come inside this building, but again, they do it all for fairness, but you know, unfortunately for Cohen, a first-timer here at the shootout, maybe it bypassed that part when they brought here, but he'll have some work to do later on tonight.
Well, it's your job to fill the legal car, right? Right. When you come and you roll through, so give the rule book a check, make sure that you are up to function, and then it's no problem. Unfortunately for him, cost him a spot in a qualifier by that with that disqualification, so he will be tagged at the back of the field for his Outlaw, probably D main, coming up later on tonight, possibly. Understand that they're working with some timing and scoring stuff at the moment to get everything up and running. Wouldn't be the first time that we've hand scored here at the Tulsa Shootout. I know Miss Ashley would be a little cranky to start her morning off that way, but it has happened. We can do it. We got a great staff, not only in the flow racing side of things, but here within the Expo Raceway, and these guys have been here for years. They're people who have been 39 years involved with this thing in terms of track maintenance, scoring, officiating, you name it. It's a very familiar, very quality group of individuals who know how to get this program done. And boy, we got a lot of races stacked up today, so they're going to be efficient. That'll be the name of the game for them.
Yeah, and extra pressure, especially now with the higher car counts. I mean, non-wing Outlaw, 300 and almost 60 or 70 entries. I mean, of course, we get to stock non-wing tomorrow. There's over 400. So those points are going to be a little bit more critical than maybe what we saw yesterday with the Outlaw wing division. So you definitely want to make sure you get things right. And so the staff's going to take some time here to make sure that they get some of those scoring loops kind of figured out. So while we get the cars out on the racetrack, and I know a couple of the heat races are out here working the track in while we work on the timing and scoring loop, let's go back to Connor Wade. Connor, what do you got for us?
Jackson Bishop at the top of the ramp, ready to go out for a non-winged Outlaw heat. Top 10 in 2 divisions last year, including non-winged Outlaw. Jackson, you had a great run in 2 classes last year, starting in winged Outlaw with an early morning heat race. How do you replicate that success from last year and maybe be even a little better?
Just kind of get our stuff better. We were kind of off in practice, so we got some work to do. And but no, I know Troy and Chris and all those guys, Johnny, everybody's working hard, so we'll get this thing better. And just a 3-2 right here probably get me in a qualifier, and we can go from there.
Going out early in the morning, what do you do to be most rested, most prepared to go out like this?
You probably get your stuff freed up enough where you can really roll around the track. It usually turns into a dyno session right here, so just kind of get in line and be smart. Maybe you can pick 1 or 2 off and then be in a good spot for come qualifier time.
All right, Jackson Bishop ready to roll. He'll be in one of the early morning heat races in non-winged Outlaw, guys.
Well, with that, thank you, Connor. We're going to take a quick time out. Thank some of our awesome sponsors. We will be back with action coming up here from the 39th Annual American Waste Control Tulsa Shootout, presented by NOS Energy Drink, here on Flow Racing.
The Hyper Racing X7 600cc Sprint chassis has become the world leader in micro sprint racing. Our extreme passion for dirt track racing and our desire for you to achieve success are the reasons we created this masterpiece. Check out our X7 chassis kit configurator online at our new website at hyperracing.com.
In the motorsports.
Faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
And you'll never miss a lap here on Flow Racing, our live coverage of the 39th Annual American Waste Control Tulsa Shootout, presented by NOS Energy Drink. Heat race number 1 of the day is on the track, the non-wing Outlaws. Race number 26. It's Tyler Cook and Cameron Paul making up your front row. Keith McIntyre Jr. and Logan Heath in row number 2. Jacob Johnston and Brant Woods in row number 3. Blake Parmalee and Kyle Chatty in row number 4. And Joshua Lewis and Robbie Brockman making up row number 5. Guys, settle in. Racetrack has got some moisture in it. And hey, non-wing cars, juiced up racetrack. It's a recipe for some fun.
Yeah, and Brad Chandler was, you know, or Chili Bowl Gravel, as we call him, has been active on Twitter. He always is, only this time of year, giving everybody an update on the racetrack. Of course, when you have a long day, 123 races on the docket today, aggressive grip is going to be the key right here. So we saw yesterday these first couple races, the battle's going to be on the bottom side of the racetrack. A little less water on the top that they started with. They're hoping to get those 2 distinct grooves much sooner than yesterday. That was kind of his goal as far as coming into today's extensive schedule. So although it may be a little bit tricky for these drivers, but of course, Clinton, you know, as a veteran race car driver, you should know in this situation where you need to be this early on in the night.
Yeah, absolutely. We all know we're just going to be fighting for the bottom in this first corner, and from there, you kind of just got to wait on the guy in front of you to make a mistake. It's not something you can go drive around a guy or make something happen on your own. Usually, it's one of those deals where they're going to give you more spots than you can take. So a little bit of patience here. Got to stay aggressive and be ready for that mistake, but you don't want to force the issue and open yourself up for attack. We did lose the number 157 of Kyle Chatty, which, Connor, I think you have an update right before we go green here.
Real quick, chain popped off. Chatty will not start this heat.
Okay, so 9 of 10 start our first heat race. They'll wind them up, saddle in, boys and girls. Shootout, day 2 underway. Off the initial start and down into the first corner from the outside of the front row, it's Cameron Paul rocketing out into the early advantage. He's being chased out there by Logan Heath.
And Tyler Cook just didn't get going on that initial start, lost 2 positions. As you look a little bit farther back, Robbie Brockman to the inside of Keith McIntyre will dispatch that race car, so the battle for 6th heating up there as well as now everyone's single file on the bottom.
Looking at racing a little bit further back in the field. Meanwhile, flash forward again to the front where there's your lead 3, Paul, Heath, and Woods, as we've quickly completed 3 laps.
Woods is the big mover so far. He started in the 6th position and had a really good run through that first corner. Shows the speed to kind of challenge Heath here for 2nd as the top 3 separate yourself from the field as we're halfway down.
Quickly, laps erasing themselves off the board as they're all gunning for points. 100 points to win off the pole. 105 to win from 2nd is what Cameron Paul's looking like. That should situate him well into a qualifier coming up later on. As right now, it is Heath trying to hold off Woods for 2nd best battle on the track.
And you talk about the cutoff, but remember the top 112 out of these 380-some non-wing Outlaws will make a qualifier. That average cut is around 90.8. So if you're Cameron Paul, 105 is fantastic, but some of these drivers picking up maybe 1 spot near the back of the field could mean the difference.
Some drivers trying to make a last lap move. Top 3 will remain the same. Paul, Heath, Woods here in your very first heat race. Checkered flag, rest of the field, not a whole lot of movement, as that'll finish off heat race number 1 on the day and number 26 overall here at the Tulsa Shootout. So Cameron Paul, 105 to set us off. Logan Heath runs from 4th to 2nd. And Woods takes your 3rd spot as up the ramp they go. Look at the Joe's Racing Products ramp cam for the first time here on our morning program.
Be a busy place all day long with cars coming up and cars going down, and one of the most iconic parts about running here at the Expo Center is race number 27 on the racetrack with our 2nd non-wing Outlaw heat race. Garrett Smith out of Pennsylvania and Garth Kasner will share the front row. Bodie McLaughlin and Thomas Partington will make up row 2. There's Tony Pinnock out of El Reno, Oklahoma in row number 3, who is outside Casey Bauman out of Prescott Valley, Arizona. Your 7th and 8th starters, Bryson Hand and Elijah Guile out of Phoenix, Arizona, and your top 10 starters, Chris Townsend and Haley Papp. So 8 laps the distance, some opportunities. One of those drivers we were talking about yesterday, Elijah Guile, could have a good run there on the outside of row number 4.
Going to depend a lot on the start for that outside row for Guile. That outside row has to move or else he's just going to get wound up with nowhere to go in the back. We'll keep a watch on him as engines come to life. We're back to green. 2nd heat race of the day is on track. Bouncing around, one driver ping-ponging off the other. Kasner with the early advantage.
Smith once again didn't get going on the inside lane. You should take a look near the back of the field. There's the 19X of Thomas Partington trying to make something happen on the outside. But again, the lane to be at right now is on the bottom, although we may get something brewing here with this 59 of Bodie McLaughlin, Clinton Boyles, trying to make something happen. Oh, contact at the back of the field there. Garth Kasner is going to come to a stop.
Say issues for Kasner in the middle of 3 and 4 there. He started to slow down, and Brody read it perfectly. It'll be all for naught, though.
Chain reaction benefited McLaughlin big time, however, reset to the last complete lap. I guess the question is going to be where the caution flag came out in regards to the whole field crossing there.
Yeah, and was Brody in 2nd when they crossed the line on their ticker top of your guys' screen, it shows he was. So
That should give him the top spot
could
here.
be a really big move for Brody.
Kasner with the gloves off, going to get the push up the ramp, and he'll be buried in one of the lower mains coming up later this week in this division. Of course, already ran yesterday in the RS12 Motorsports Outlaw Wing division. So we'll get a restart. Still 6 to go.
Right now, they haven't shuffled the front of that field yet. Or have they? Is that Smith?
No, Brody's in the lead there.
Okay, there we go.
Got to race the KKM Give Back race at Port City this year and was teammates-ish with Brody McLaughlin. We share the same crew chief, Chad Lair, and Brody, somebody that looking inside the micro right there, you might not realize, but Brody is like 6'4", just a really big kid. I think he's 18, 19 years old, so really cool to get to kind of hang out with Brody and get to know him. And he does a lot of his own work on the micros and get stuff ready, and then him and Chad come to the racetrack and they make it happen.
He's in a good spot here in this heat race. Catbird seat with 6 laps to go. Slowly bringing them back up to speed through the corner. Start looks good. We're back to green. McLaughlin, good set of corners in 1 and 2 as Panic moves to the attack now on Smith. Looking their way out for the turn. 1, 2, and 3. McLaughlin, Smith, and Panic. Field sorting themselves out down at there's Partington, Papp, and Townsend racing around.
Yeah, getting word from Connor upstairs, that was a blown motor for Garth Kasner, so they'll have a lot more work to do than maybe what we thought. As take a look back, there's the gap between first and second. McLaughlin starting to pull away just a little bit from Garrett Smith. As next time by, we will see the white flag.
One more time around, Elijah Guile has worked his way up into 4th. That'll be a decent scoring run for him. 8-4 as the front end is bouncing on the Racecraft-sponsored 13, but flying his way to the checkered flag. Brody McLaughlin scores 1 for Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. As the checker is out, Smith and Penick will follow him up.
3-1, so starting to add some points. Will set him up really nicely as well later on for a qualifier. As you take a look at your finishing order. With that, let's go upstairs. CSI Heat Race interview with Connor Wade.
105 points for Cameron Paul outside of the front row in non-winged outlaw heat 1. Obviously going out very first heat race of the morning. How important was the start going 2-1 to ultimately getting the win?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I can't thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ enough to put me in this opportunity. But yeah, the 2-1 is kind of the only thing we can do. We're still going to be kind of buried with all the passing that goes on non-wing, but hopefully we can have enough points to be a good spot to qualify to make more points. So,
any adjustments to the car whenever the track's a little racier?
It's kind of hard to say because this joint gets from slick to hooked up real quick. So hopefully we can just figure out what the hell it's going on.
Cameron Paul, winner of non-winged outlaw heat 1.
Well, field for our 3rd heat race of the day is already set and rolling to go. We'll get you guys your lineup as we can in this. Kurt Westerfield, Coleman Gilpin, Jackson Bishop, Curtis Jones, Kate Byerman, Jackson Wigg, Stefan Sider, Tommy Koonsman, David Beasley, and Ryan Mueller look to make up the field.
Koonsman 9-2 yesterday. He starts 8th here this morning as we're green. Heat race number 3 and already banging wheels into turn 1 and 2.
Jackson Wiggs won the opening heat race last night.
And Bishop gets turned around.
So caution will come out. Looks like try this again. That should be Cujo, right?
Yes.
All right, Curtis Jones, veteran.
Nope, 22Z, Jackson Bishop. There you go.
In the same row next to each other,
That's right.
Of course, here in the early morning.
We heard from him with Connor Wade earlier this morning. He's taking a look at the iBox Springs instant replay. Keep an eye on the inside lane, and Bishop kind of started to get loose and just kind of got finished off there, Clint, it looked like.
Yeah, car came across his nose there, and not a lot you can do left rear to right front. The left rear is going to win every time.
So Bishop will tag the tail of the field, and of course, didn't get a completed lap, so we'll get a restart, full restart here.
Points are calculated from the initial drop of the green flag, so with Bishop moving all the way to the back, he doesn't get free passing points now. Fortunately, first green came out, he was 3rd on that one, and that's where he is locked into.
inside row will just move straight up, and that's pretty big when you talk about cars, you know, with passing points. If you go a whole row from the inside just moving straight up, as opposed to, you know, Tommy Koonsman moving to the inside starting spot down in 7th, then that's a big change.
Stefan Sider will get the belated Christmas gift. Moved up a row, inside row number 3. With Jackson Wiggs now to the outside as they continue to roll around side by side. Our third heat race of the morning. 100, we're gonna go to race 147 tonight. So
Yeah.
buckle up, get some snacks, find your best spot on the couch or wherever you may be and hang out with us. Of course, you can always interact with us as well. Let us know where you're tuning in from.
We love to talk about you almost as much as we like to talk about ourselves.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. All right, let's try this again. Side by side, Hyper Racing Outlaw Non-Wing Heat Race 3 underway. And it's Westerfield and Gilpin leaning on each other, but Westerfield will get crossed up off the berm, and Gilpin will take the point away. Now, Westerfield going the wrong direction.
Caught out in that middle where there wasn't a whole lot to grab onto right there. And he might just have an ill-handling race car. As down the back straightaway, Gilpin seeing his advantage soak up and be gone. Westerfield coming back and trying to move forward here.
Yeah,
as Koonsman now all the way up to 3rd.
I was about to say, Koonsman took advantage of them trying to run through that middle part of the racetrack, and now Koonsman's going to try the outside as Westerfield, a little bit of an ill-handling car, couldn't quite get the drive off the last time by, and he will this time, but Tommy Koonsman's going to just try to go where they're not at this point, make something happen. He may have an opportunity at second here.
Koonsman up to the top in 1 and 2. Maybe thinking 2 for 1. Yes, sirree. He'll make the move down the back straightaway, close the door into 3, and Koonsman's got the top spot.
Oh, and Gilpin just got his left front taken off, and unfortunately now from first to the rear, as we come down to 2 laps to go, and Gilpin, I think, is just going to pull off the racetrack. But Tommy Koonsman now is going to be 8-1. As next time by, he'll see the white flag, but what a run for a guy that we always talk about as a threat when it comes to getting a golden griller.
135 points lingering just a little ways away for him. Nice run by Wiggs up to 3rd, looking for 2nd. Cheppin is out, give the win to Koonsman. Westerfield and Wiggs will polish off your top 3. Tommy Koonsman. Big score last night, big score this morning. 39th shootout going awfully well for him to start.
All right, let's go upstairs. CSI Heat Race interview with Chris Moore.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Got Brody McLaughlin here. Brody, you go into 3. Garth Kasner's leading. Did you see he was kind of struggling and you moved to the top, or were you just lucky to be right place, right time?
Yes, sir. I seen him, kind of bunch up a little bit, so I decided to step up a lane. I knew it wasn't going to be much, but, it was just enough to get it done, and went 3rd to 1st in the heat, so, you can't really complain.
How good did the car feel once you got out front?
Oh, it felt great, hooked up, just kept getting better and better, I felt. So, yeah, 2 more races later on the week, and hopefully we can get it done.
All right, there he is, guys. Brody McLaughlin, a heat race winner. We'll keep an eye out, see if anything gets interesting up here, but Tommy Koonsman keeps rolling with his Tulsa Shootout up here.
Certainly does. Lineup already set here in this 4th heat race. Dodge Calbert and Carson Batterby on the front row. Ryan Carter, Logan Julian, Ethan Wicker, Brock Barrett, Jimmy Leal, Layden Pearson, Reed Whitney, and Josh Jackson going to make the call as we're green off of turn 4.
Somebody missed the call on this one. 9 starters out of 10. Scoring loop will figure it out for us as lap number 1 officially in the books.
It's going to be Carson Batterby from the outside pole as you look a little bit farther back and through the field. There's Brock Barrett in the 10, and then up front here, 27E, that's Ethan Wicker trying to bring Logan Julian and the rest of them. Layden Pearson with probably the most
distinct.
I guess distinct, yeah, that's a good word. A little tricolor action.
Watching last night, you never miss where that car is on the track. It is just so bright. And apparently there is a no reflective number rule, so I wonder how that works when the entire car is reflective.
As long as the number's okay, that may be all right. As there's the gap, Batterby already pulling away from Ethan Wicker. Logan Julian was able to settle into position number 3. There's Brock Barrett trying to attack Julian in that orange number 85.
Right up to his back bumper. Problems. Bumper tag. Up and over, and we finally got one.
We did. We went 27 and a half races before finally getting one upside down, and it's courtesy of the 27E of Ethan Wicker. So not an award you want to win, but he's on all fours, but certainly some significant right front damage. The tire already off the wheel. And the first time we can really talk about our Tulsa Expo Raceway safety crew, the best in the business, always there right when the car comes to a rest. We check out the iBox Springs instant replay. Yeah, just got into the back of Batterby, or Ethan Wicker, I should say, and unfortunately for Wicker, just upside down, but significant damage. While we have this opportunity to clean up the accident scene on the front straightaway, let's go back up top to Connor Wade.
Well, Tommy Koonsman, I think that was more than luck. Looking really good. High point man as of now, 135 points, 8-1. How are you able to maneuver by everybody and then make the 3-wide pass for the lead?
Yeah, you know, the car was just really good. I was a little nervous there going to third race out because it's usually one lane. And so my car was just working pretty good wherever I put it. You know, we guessed right on the setup, didn't have to make too many changes out there. And, you know, kind of was able to go where they weren't and, you know, able to get by them guys on an early racetrack.
Your week is off to such a good start. How do you keep this momentum rolling all the way through Sunday night?
In this building, you just keep praying, because your luck could change in an instant, you know. And usually when you have some good races, your next races start going good too, because you get confidence in the building and all that. So like I said, we just got to keep making sure our cars are good every time they hit the racetrack. Nothing's going to fall off. And if I can do my job, we should be all right.
Tommy Koonsman gets a heat race win. Man, he has looked pretty sporty in that 21K to start the week.
Certainly has, and we'll be talking a lot about Mr. Koonsman over the course of the week. Again, a driver who's done all 4 of the big class A-main starts in a year. Did that a couple years ago. As we get a look at the rest of the field, looks like the carnage has been cleaned up. And we'll have a quick little shootout here with Carson Batterby, a Gulf Coast Speedway regular, part of the Now 600 series. Also takes part in some of the Lone Star Regional Series for the Now 600 group as well. At the point.
Sure looks like Logan Julian was penalized for his involvement in that accident, as currently stuck in behind him.
I don't think Julian was.
Was it
I think
somebody
Dodge
else in there?
Calbert's in second, and
Okay.
that's who Wicker actually got into the back of in 3 and 4 there. And Calbert kind of got tight and checked up, and Wicker got in the back of him, and then we saw what ensued after that. So Calbert's not taking on our scoring, but he is in second in that white car. It's number 1M. And then behind him should be Logan Julian in the 85, the orange car.
Then Brock Barrett, who started this race in the 6th position.
Follow that up with
Ryan Carter in the 1S.
Yep, then Pearson. Picking up the car recognition on the non-wing car is so difficult because of the lack of wing. It's amazing, even with our screens in front of us. But we'll get there.
I think you're just getting old and you can't see.
That's a very real possibility.
Lights are out. Time to go back racing here halfway home in this heat race as Batterby just shot himself out of a cannon and already a 4-car length lead. Into turns 3 and 4, Logan Julian trying to challenge for second. Meanwhile, Leighton Pearson on the move, trying to attack Ryan Carter around the outside. They bang wheels, and up the hill goes Barrett.
That's what we were talking about. Brock Barrett tried to move to the outside to make a move and lost 2 positions, maybe more here. You just open yourself up for attack right now. It's kind of that aggressively patient style that you have to be. You can maybe make 1 corner, but if you leave yourself open too long, somebody's going to fill that hole.
White flag is out. Reed Whitney was able to get through as well, following Leighton Pearson, as down the back straightaway for the final time, Carson Batterby is going to walk the dog on this one. He's a heat race winner in Hyper Racing Outlaw non-wing. Coming home second is going to be Dodge Calbert, then Logan Julian, Leighton Pearson, Ryan Carter. Your top 5 again. Don't forget we did not score Dodge Calbert. He should have finished there in second. But another heat race in the books as they go back up the hill. A thumbs up there for Jimmy Leal as he goes up the Joe's Racing Products ramp.
And right down with our next heat race number 30 overall of the event. Lineup looks like this. This will be fun off your front row with Russ Dysinger and Kyle Spence. Cole Tinsley and Jesse Edwards in row 2. Derek Hagar and Darren Nida in row number 3. Sawyer Davis and Hunter Rhodes in row 4. Braden Kongdara and Bash Ferguson making up row number 5. Guys, the action going to be up front in this one. Dysinger versus Mr. On the Fence.
Yeah, and Dysinger had a good run yesterday. Wasn't exactly what he wanted in the Outlaw wing, but knowing Russ, he's fired up here this morning. Unfortunately, has only one job to do, and that's to keep his position and get the 100 points max he can. But what a good battle will be with Kyle Spence, who's, of course, a former shootout winner. This heat race is underway as they barrel into turn 1 and 2, and around the outside goes On the Fence Kyle Spence.
Watch, see if he keeps it up top. Spence, sporting black and blue, a little different colors for him. So usually here the black, white, and red. Spence trying to work a bit, looks like a middle groove, and not really getting away from Dysinger. Dysinger's got a nice line on him, going into 1 and 2, half a groove lower through the corner. Down the back straightaway they look. Spence a better entry into 3 that time, as that's a good duel out front and action in behind him on the split screen.
That's Darren Nida in the 98X, as we've got one all the way in the top side of turn number 3, the 9-car of Sawyer Davis with the steering wheel already off, bringing out the caution. But yeah, as soon as we went to that double box, Darren Nida, who of course made pretty good noise at the Chili Bowl in his debut last year for Dan Binks, teammate to Cody Swanson, back here at the shootout. Already up to the 4th spot, but unfortunately, looks like terminal damage to Sawyer Davis. We'll go down to Brian Ward here in just a minute. As you take a look up close to that 9 machine. Here's the iBox Springs instant replay.
And there it was. Bang.
And there it is. So caught the tail end of it and obviously frustrated with Sawyer Davis. Brian Ward, what can you tell us on the damage to his race car?
Well, the right rear torsion arm is snapped. So obviously there's no shock connected there. It all came apart. It caught the corner of my eye right before he went into the wall. Something happened going down the back straightaway, if it was when that bar snapped or if it snapped on contact, but something sent him directly to the wall and he made contact right there at the turn of the ramp and came to a stop. That'll end his heat race.
So let's get a second look at it on the IBOC replay. Punts the wall. Gravity check passed on that one. However,
steering wheel.
Yeah.
Had to be the steering wheel's fault.
Yeah.
Tough
Were you keeping track of steering wheel chucks?
Yeah,
we gotta
should.
There's a lot of things we can keep track of for sure.
We're starting to see a little bit of color change right here in 1 and 2, right where your leaders are driving, right there. It's where we see these guys maybe starting to slip a little bit right on the bottom and potential, second lane come in here, or at least the possibility of the track moving up.
Spence, a sharp guy, probably why he's in that second groove already, is he want to be first to it, not last.
Yeah. One of these deals, I think you can kind of cheat your entry here a little bit and then slide to that moisture instead of a high-low entry exit.
He hugged it that time around, and Dysinger going to stay right with him. Let's see what happens when the cars are wound up to full speed. Russ is going to go in a little bit higher, backs the corner in, now coming after him down the back straightaway. Spence, one of the more dominant drivers in non-wing that we've seen here at the shootout over the past couple of years, and Russ Dysinger giving him everything he had until disaster.
That's big time right there. Russ Dysinger just trying to do all he can to get the grip off the corner, and man, what a barrel roll. The width of the racetrack ends at the top side of turn number 2. Quickly righted on all 4s. Tough break.
At least he knows a good parts guy, because there's going to be a lot to replace on that race car.
You also saw in the double box Darren Nida get up to 3rd.
These guys just have to run these things right on the ragged edge of too tight, and that's the fine margin that all these guys are racing on right here between passing or speed and disaster.
It is Outlaw non-wing though, so they do have all your cockpit adjustments within them, so you can loosen the thing up if you need to over the course of the race.
So you almost wonder if he was tightening himself up as we look at our instant replay.
Oh, contact.
A little left rear to right front.
It's hard to see on that initial snap look. Let's get a second peek. And
as I said before, the left rear is always going to win.
velocity of that flip was really something. Glad to see him walking away. Let's talk to Chris Moore up at the top of the ramp. Chris.
Thank you, Caleb. Got Carson Batterby here. Carson, seems like, especially here early on, you know, with the green racetrack, the guys on the outside of the front row are able to get a good jump. Do you feel like there's a little extra moisture on the top off of 4 there?
Yeah, I don't know if it's extra moisture, just timing it right, but I knew going into that race that getting to turn 1 was the most important part, and that was going to settle the deal with how the track is. But thanks to DSR Power, Dave Sanders, we were able to get that jump and get there.
Good job. Keep it rolling.
Thank y'all.
All right, there you go, Carson Batterby. Looks like we're getting ready to go back green, guys.
Another CSI Shocks interview up at the top of the ramp as we roll back to green with Kyle Spence in front.
Darren Nida now up to second after Dysinger's flip. We'll see what Nida can do out of Adrian, Michigan in that 98X. But Spence just a master when it comes to restarts. As this time by, it'll be 3 laps to go. Battle's just a little bit farther back, but we'll keep a look at this front duo of Spence and Nida is meanwhile coming through. The 18K of Braden Congra.
6-2 is going to be a nice run from Nida. That's 113 points of scoring for him. He'll actually outscore Spence by just a hair. As Spence looking for 105 if he can bring her home for half a lap left. Easy going for Kyle Spence. Checker flag. Nida 2, Tinsley, Hagar, and Kongdara. Interested to see what Kyle says. As, man, he was under fire from Russ Dysinger for a long time. Should have some interesting words. Always a very thoughtful about the track and about his race conditions.
Made 3 of 4 feature starts last year, so Kyle Spence trying to continue that momentum in this building. As you take a look at the Joe's Racing Products ramp cam, going up and coming down is race number 31.
Donnie Burrows, cousin Cameron out on the racetrack. Burrows versus Key in the front row. Christian Bruno, Daryl Mosier, Cole Kirkman, and Kaylee Esgar, Katie Wagner, Maxwell Mosier, Dustin Bottoms, and Cash Lovenberg make up your 10 cars. Eyes all on the outside row here, with Key starting outside row number 1, but do not sleep on the guy starting 10th. Cash Lovenberg is a wheel man. He could make some points here. Esgar picked up a now 600 feature win over the course of the year. Congratulations to that young lady. Her dad, Brandon, wrenching on the cars up in the pits. We had a lot of interesting stories in this one. Let's let them shake out and see what happens as they're off the corner and we're underway. So far, working their way through 1 and 2. Everybody trying to find their way. Cameron does not look super comfortable sitting in 3rd at the moment. Lap number 1 is going to be Christian Bruno. Burrows 2nd, and Key trying to sort out the 21 car sitting 3rd.
Yeah, Bruno able to capitalize on the bottom. The 8-time winner out east in Pennsylvania. Going to lead from 3 to 1 as you look at a gaggle in the back of the field. Katie Wagner's involved. You got the 21 of Cash Lovenberg making some moves, already picking off 3.
Picked up all 3 in one corner coming off there as they'll work their way through. Good racing on our screen. That's Mosier trying to hold off Kirkman. Kirkman gets by him as Lovenberg is on the pursuit. He's coming after Esgar, but we got blinky yellow lights.
We do, and it's courtesy of the 8B of Dustin Bottoms. Last scored in the 9th position, sitting at top turns 3 and 4. Oh, 1 and 2. Let's go to Connor Wade.
Kyle Spence, a nice heat race win, as we just saw. Kyle, Chris Wilner commented on your great abilities on restarts, and that really allowed you to hold off Nida. What was your approach there, that final green flag run to keep him behind you?
Just, single file, so I had the advantage there. So just, control the pace at my own and start when I want so I could get that initial jump on him and just kind of hang on.
Dysinger was behind you. You think he got into you, then did upside down. What did you feel? Did you see him there at all?
Yeah, I felt somebody hit the back of me, but I was already ahead of him for a couple laps there. So I don't know if he went over my right rear or what. Hopefully he's all right. I guess I saw him get out of the car, so that's good to hear. And can't thank everybody enough. Radada, Trucking and Excavating, Bob Hummer, Kurt Matherly for letting me take his car out here. Freedom of Speech Therapy, JP Racing, everybody that's part of this.
Kyle Spence looking to add a 3rd driller to his resume, off to a good start in non-winged Outlaw.
All right, Connor, we're ready to get back to action here in heat race number 31. Our 6th of the morning here for Hyper Racing Outlaw non-wing. We're back to action. Nice start by Bruno. That's going to give him a neat little pad. Some breathing room early in this. So we're already 3 laps complete. So time remaining for everybody else, not quite there. Yellow lights on again as, fortunately, Mr. Bottoms might be Bottoms up the ramp. Bottoms. Up the ramps he goes, and that'll bunch everybody back up. Did not get a completed lap, so again, 3 and 5 to go when we come to the restart.
Still 5 to go, so plenty of time. If you're Cameron Key, I guess, Clint, what kind of adjustments would you tell him right now? I mean, it seems like he's just trying to struggle. I know he's trying to run the top to get around Donnie Burrows, but it's just not working.
Seems like he gets to the center of the corner and the car gets super tight on him. He just can't carry any speed.
He's got Moser to deal with ahead. And directly behind, Cole Kirkman had a good run yesterday. Of course, son of Todd Kirkman, the accomplished micro racer out of Indiana. Kaylee Esger, Cash Lovenberg, keep an eye on him as well. Back underway, 5 to go.
Bruno once again going to drive away on the restart, doing everything he's got to do. Just make good laps out there. They've given you more spots than you can take. That is the case as Key pushed out to the outside groove again. In trouble with Kirkman. Looking to sneak underneath him. Couldn't quite make the pass in 1 and 2. Now Key goes into attack mode. As on the bottom in front of him, Burrows just slow enough. They're going to split the difference. Kirkman and Key both go by. Burrows rebounding to try to hold it.
Just not enough for Cameron to get the momentum off the cover. Yeah, Moser on the bottom. He just needs him to miss it one time, and Moser's going to run through the slick and allow Key to get around. There's Lovenberg trying to hold off Katie Wagner already, coming down to the checkered flag. So off of 4, Christian Bruno is going to have a healthy win in this one over Burrows. How about that?
Kirkman, Key, Moser, Lovenberg, Esgar. So Christian Bruno gets the W. 3rd to 1st, 110 points for him.
5 to 3 for Kirkman. And Cash Lovenberg able to get up to 6th from 10th.
Needed that to break a little bit differently for him as those cars all got together in that pack. Like one misstep, one guy hitting the brake too early, etc. And you could have seen that big move. But as is, you're racing with a bunch of professionals here at the shootout. There are very few slouches and bad equipment as race 32 on the track. And oh boy, Sunshine, pole position here in this one. Dusty Young next to him, Alex Caldwell, David Camden in row 2. Maverick Elkins and Connor Gross row 3. Jordan Marrero, Kyle Thompson in row 4. Austin Crowder and Glenn James Brady in row number 5. Well, if you're Tyler Courtney, the mission is very simple. Win or else.
Remember, he struggled a little bit yesterday, Clinton, with not being on the bottom of the racetrack. I think he learned his lesson here today.
Not really getting the best start there. In the proper line and a good handling of the race car, though. Get Tyler the lead.
Yeah, got a little lucky with Dusty Young running up the hill in turns 1 and 2. So running for Christopher Bell, Tyler Courtney will now pace this heat race, and then it's just an absolute gaggle of a fest back here. You've got Connor Gross trying to make something happen. Also on the outside, that's the 17X of Alex Caldwell. And Caldwell's going to lose a couple positions here running that top groove, allowing Jordan Marrero.
And Dusty Young's got a handful back there. That car is all kinds of out of sorts. Can't find anywhere to be comfortable with it. And that's going to open up opportunity for Maverick Elkins to get by him. Oh, and it goes from bad to worse as the 15L of Young facing the wrong way.
Maverick Elkins might be the fastest car on the racetrack right now.
You look at the lap times, he's right there with Tyler.
Yeah.
11.883 versus an 11.897.
He was racing through traffic doing that.
All right, let's go up top for another CSI Shocks interview and Chris Moore.
Thank you. Here with Christian Bruno, the Jersey boy. Christian, it's been about 3 years since you've been here. Didn't look like it there in that heat race. Car was rolling really good on the bottom. How'd you feel?
Yeah, we struggled a little bit in practice with the Outlaw car, but I think we kind of got it figured out. And I just want to thank Mike Dicey for giving us his engine and Kenny Grove. It's good to be back out here in Tulsa. Always nice to race about 9 o'clock in the morning out here. So Yeah, car was good. Track should come in, and we have a few more races today. So.
All right, there he is. Back to you guys.
Racing resumes with Tyler Courtney, Maverick Elkins. Elkins in second, opens the door up down low, as unfortunately he's going to cede a spot. Connor Gross gets by him for the 2 position, and now focus on Sunshine, who's not abundantly faster than those guys yet.
He had a healthy advantage just on the restart, but opens the door for Connor Gross. Battle for the lead, and Connor Gross down to an 11.7 on lap times, is running now the best lap times. All over the back of Tyler Courtney, and around goes Sunshine. And we may see Terry Maddox bring out that dreaded black flag. We will see.
Wow.
But gave him a shot in the shorts and just didn't seem it. There it is. Just didn't get off the rear bumper, and to the tail goes Connor Gross after running the fastest laps.
Big benefit to Maverick Elkins there. Let's take a look at the iBox Springs replay, as here it is in all of its glory coming off the corner, and man, he got into him at the wrong spot. He didn't have a whole lot of chance to help him save it, though.
No, that's a really tough spot for to get out of the throttle and let Tyler go, you know, in that position, especially knowing you got guys behind you. But that's, I mean, really your only hope to not get black flagged and not take out your leader there. Kind of, you hate to see that for Tyler. The week started off not the way they wanted last night. Still salvageable, maybe, but man, this one, you're buried.
And 3 laps to go.
Yeah, not a lot of time left, but Maverick Elkins now at the point. Glenn James Brady behind as we're back underway. We'll monitor Tyler Courtney and Connor Gross's progression as they both split. Austin Crowder, now it's Caldwell.
Yeah, this is salvage mode for Sunshine. He's going to have to get a big break of luck coming right here. They're all kind of gathered up in front of him, so if he can find a clean line through, he's got a chance. That's not going to help. And Courtney to the infield. Sunshine's run is done. Checkered flag, Maverick Elkins going to take the heat race win ahead of Glenn James Brady, who started in 10th, so 10th to 2 for him, and there should be your high score.
Yeah, quietly made his way up there and took advantage of a couple miscues, as we saw with Courtney and Gross. So Elkins, Brady, Camden, Marrero, Gross scored 5th, so was able to make something out of nothing. But again, Connor Gross, who did start toward the back in 6th, so he did pick up technically a position, but still, man, tough break for Tyler Courtney.
10-2 worth 133, so he's second in the clubhouse at the moment to the 8-1 we saw earlier. As next group of cars going to get ready to come down, the officials are wandering out onto the racetrack. Lineup for heat race number 33, Eli Adams and Austin Shores, Shelby Hinton and Dwayne Bartlett, Frank Flood, Jim McNulty, Robbie Smith, Jeffrey Pahuli, Connor Lee, and Dalton Moss making up this heat race.
Redemption time for Frank Flood, who pulled off before the green flag yesterday in the RS12 Motorsports Outlaw Wing Division.
Do you pick him up a Coors Latte after the race, Clinton?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
That was a legendary level whammy on that one.
It was bad.
It was good. Well, bad for Frank. But
Not a second after Clinton praised him.
I know.
And now Eli Adams, it looks like they're just getting ready to come out on the racetrack. A little bit of a track inspection. Of course, a long day means officials need to keep an eye on the racetrack. Adams in that really nice looking 72 machine, Adams Performance.
I think the Sam Johnson owned car.
See Sam and the Rev Max Racing guys.
See Sam obviously kind of popped on the scene driving for Keith Coons and is kind of building up his own program. So pretty cool to see him develop that. And with that, we'll throw it up top to Connor Wade.
Well, Maverick Elkins caught a break in that heat race. Obviously, Gross and Sunshine going at it up front. How much of a relief was that, catching that break?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be lucky than good any day. It's pretty nice. I mean, this is actually my personal car. It's my first time ever in this building, or actually the first race with this car, so I'm pretty pumped to get a heat race win. Job's not done yet. We still got a qualifier, and I think we'll be sitting pretty good, so I'm pretty pumped.
Glenn Boyle said he thought you were the fastest car on the racetrack, even before you took the lead. What's making that 25 so good?
My grandpa right there, he's the best crew chief in the building. I don't care what anybody says, and he gets it dialed in. I'm and I have a lot of faith in him.
Maverick Elton's pretty good in 2023 across Texas and Oklahoma, looking for some success here in the Tulsa Shootout.
And a family affair with Grandpa on the wrenches, the whole family there. Pretty cool stuff. Congratulations to Maverick. All right, we've got him lined up. Eli Adams on the front row with Austin Shores. You see Frank Flood again running with Hyper Chassis this year in that 81 machine inside row 3.
Robbie.
A little bit of jacked up start, but we're underway.
That fourth row is really good, too, with Robbie Smith and Jeffrey Pahuli. And, Pahuli was just about to thread the needle when the caution comes out.
Yeah, Terry shaking his head. A little bit of a jumbled start. And quick penalty, so Adams will get moved back a row.
Forward goes Hinton.
Shelby's had a fantastic last couple of years on the micro ranks and the national scene, as well as select midget starts. Of course, made his Chili Bowl debut last year. We'll be talking about Shelby for some time, and it's had some really good runs over the years. So we'll see. But it's always been in this building. It seems like he always has some bad luck. So we'll see what happens.
It's another one of those fun portions of the shootout, right, where we've got guys from so many different areas and disciplines and what they do, all coming together to test their mettle against each other here in just a heat race. Wait till we get towards Sunday's program and we've got the big guns all loaded up into one.
All right, so Hinton now your pole sitter. Won 10 grand at Little Texas Motor Speedway earlier this year, as he'll lead him to green.
On the start, is that Pahuli again? Yes, it is. Jeffrey Pahuli shoots from 8th up into 3rd. Big move from Pahuli in the 44 car, chasing around Shelby Hinton, your early race leader.
Yeah, got around Frank Flood in that 81, who now tries to hold the bottom, but Robbie Smith is going to challenge underneath Frank Flood for position right there. Flood able to skirt around the outside, but that car not able to really hold the bottom. They're still kind of finding that middle of this racetrack, as now you take a look back up front with Hinton, and you got Eli Adams in tow.
Adams sawing on the steering wheel at the exit of turn number 2 through 3 and 4, and it looks like Hinton's found the groove and finding his rhythm as we watch Flood in 4th, trying to catch up to the front 3 and try to make some points.
Struggled a little bit there on corner exit off of turn 2. We'll see what happens this time by. Has Pahuli up ahead. So Pahuli 8 to 3.
Clinton, is that the hyper hop we're seeing?
Yeah, definitely. Just, product trying to get these things so right rear tight, make all the grip that you can so you don't spend any time slipping across the racetrack and create forward drive. But sometimes you get a little bounce in there, and that bounce also takes away speed.
White flag already out for Shelby Hinton, the 18-year-old out of Dewberry, Louisiana. As you take a look at Eli Adams with a little challenge for a second from Jeffrey Pahuli, but Shelby's going to pick himself a heat race win. So Hinton goes 3-1. Eli Adams, Pahuli 8 to 3. Frank Flood able to get 4th. He'll pick up a spot. Robbie Smith, your top 5. Connor Lee, Austin Shores, Dalton Most, Dwayne Bartlett, and Jim McNulty.
Huge thanks to Hyper Racing, not only sponsor here of the Outlaw Non-Wing division, but a huge supporter of us on Flow Racing. A lot of Hypers out in this field, and you've seen a lot of them in Victory Lane already. As down the Joe's Racing Product ramp cam comes even more of them. As cars quickly to the tracks, we're rapidly moving through our morning program as quickly as we possibly can. Going to like 147 today. Connor Lundy and Kevin Reed on the front row. Bradley Hewish and Jack Kasich. Mick Geil Jr., Cruz Dickerson, Chase Howard, Alan Cope, Daniel Schaefer, and Scott Landis make up the 10 here in this heat race. Just like that, turn the lights out, let's go. 8 of the 10 make the call. 9 of the 10 make the call. We're green. Side by side down the back straightaway. Good battle as they cross the line here the first time. Little rear tire touch as give it to Lundy in the 7, who washes up the groove and hands it right over to Kasich down the back straightaway.
Yeah, nice crossover move. 3 wide and a 3. That may not work, although they keep it stuck. How about Cruz Dickerson getting in the mix as well? Into that 3rd position, Lundy had his hands full in the middle, but we stay clean.
Tried to fit her into a tight space and got out of it just in time. Kasich trying to get away. Now Lundy with Dickerson and Cope getting involved. Cope down on the extreme bottom of 1 and 2 as Dickerson fights his way through up into second off the corner.
That car really hooked up off the bottom in 3 and 4 the last time by. We'll see if Lundy can rebound, but meanwhile, Alan Cope, Daniel Schaefer has entered the chat in the 78S. Schaefer all over that berm trying to get some run off turn 4.
Schaefer right now, I believe he's got the Dolly Parton run going, 9-5. See if he can advance a couple more positions, pick up some points as Cope will muscle his way by, and Schaefer right there to try to jump into another spot himself.
Yeah, Schaefer poked his nose inside. He'll get that position or at least get underneath this time around. White flag already for Jack Kasich in the 5K, that B&B chassis, but here's that battle for the 4th spot. Schaefer able to take it away from Lundy. Can he get 3rd? May run out of time, but your winner is going to be Jack Kasich in the 5K as he'll take the dub over Cruz Dickerson. Alan Cope able to come home 3rd. Schaefer finishes 4th after starting from the 9th spot. Connor Lundy, your top 5 with Hewish, Howard, Landis, Guile Jr., and Kevin Reed. Let's go upstairs for another CSI Heat Race interview with Chris Moore.
Thank you, Chris. Got Shelby Hinton here. Shelby, you're kind of becoming one of the breakout stars in this building. The last couple of years have gone really well for you. Another heat race win to click off here to open 2023.
Yeah, I mean, that was good for momentum, especially after last night's heat race. The track was a little wet, and we didn't exactly do what we needed to do, but I mean, that's not how I wanted to win that heat race, but in this place, I'll take all the luck that I can get. Hopefully that's 3-1, I hope. So hopefully that can set us good for a qualifier and move on to the last heat race of the day, A-class, and start, I think, 4th. So maybe we can do something there. I mean, I got to thank everybody on this car. Dusty Moon, Veterinary Service, Eric, he's been a great help to us. Lyman Motorsports supporting us. He makes some amazing engines. And I got to thank a special thanks to Nash with the Evo Hyper people. I mean, he's been helping us a lot, getting us right. He's been a huge part of this, and you know, hopefully we can keep this momentum rolling.
Yeah, keep it up. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Shelby Hinton, guys, something that you can hit on. I believe he's correct. The initial green, he was 3rd. He should get 3-1.
That's right. Wherever you take the initial green is where your points get tabulated from. As you take a look from our Rod End Supply speed shot, turn 3 and 4, as the cars enter the racetrack, little track cleanup here as well. We did have a penalty. It didn't affect any points. We'll tell you about that in a little bit as we take a look at heat race number 35. John Taylor out of Albuquerque, your pole sitter, alongside Ryan Winter, Ryan Cradle, and Rachel Zabawa share row number 2. We got Lawrence Mann Jr. out of the Texas native inside row 3 to his outside Brian Potter. Chase Porter and Mac Leopard out of the CB Industries camp in row 4. And Bryant Dawson, Hayden Wise, the young lady out of Huntersville, North Carolina, a Millbridge regular, is your 10th and final starter. And that penalty was heat race 32, so a couple races ago, Austin Crowder was docked a couple positions, passed before the cone. We haven't talked about that today. On those restarts, you cannot do that on the front stretch, so a post-race penalty, he'll end up 9th. Lights are out, coming to green. Hyper Racing, Outlaw non-wing, it's underway. And up the hill goes your front row, and somebody got squeezed out of the mix. That's the 4N of Ryan Winter, that silver machine now through the middle, looking underneath. Chase Porter already with the brakes glowing around the Expo Raceway. Mann will have the point. Meanwhile, Winter trying to rally after that slow start, going to try to peek to the inside for the lead. Porter and Potter, the 2 Ps, trying to find it in 3rd and 4th as Mann goes down the hill for a crossover.
Seems like Mann was in the right spot, but the car just wasn't working there. Door opens up for Winter down the back straightaway, and he's already opened 3 car lengths up, maybe more, as the rest of the field coming. Let's watch Porter in the 16. He'll drive up and around and into position number 2 at the halfway point here of this heat race.
Potter to the inside will also try to challenge as well. So going in the wrong direction is Mann, as Mac Leopard in that 87 will make something happen as well. Leopard started in the 8th spot up to 4th. Back up toward the front. Chase Porter now has caught Ryan Winter for the top spot.
See the brakes glowing on that car as he's coming through. Nose right across with the tail tank. And new race leader Chase Porter looking to go 2 for 2 on heat race wins here at the shootout.
Yeah. Just enough daylight on that bottom side to make the pass, and Chase Porter will see the checkered flag and get himself a heat race win. Ryan Winter second. Matt Leopard at the stripe will be credited with third, so 8 to third for Leopard. Brian Potter, Rachel Zabawa, your top 5-man junior. Wise be able to pick up a few. Dawson Taylor and Cradle.
Up top we go, Connor Wade.
Jack Kasich was the winner of race 33 and off to a good start on day 2 of the Tulsa Shootout. You guys were 3 wide early in that race. How'd you come out on top of that battle?
The car was just really good. Can't thank Reese enough for the B&B chassis. Just hammered down all the way around. And once I got past the guys, I knew I'd be in clean air. Just like to thank Reese and Darren, mom, dad, brother, and Race Ready Media for all the help they've given me this weekend.
Kind of struggled last night in winged Outlaw, but you're more of a non-winged guy anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of just doing Outlaw wing, get some more laps under the car. Had an A-class motor and wing on it, so weren't expecting to light up the world, but should be good with A-classes.
Hey, at least good to see you compete. Jack Kasich really good in non-wing today, a win in race 33.
All right, another CSI Shocks interview up at the top of the ramp. As we are 2x2 on the track, Cannon Posey, Michael Facinto, Riker Pace, Paige Moss, Tyler Walton, Dylan Schott, Alex Midkiff, Dalton Pereira, Brody Wake, and Sammy McNabb in a loaded heat race number 36. This one's got talent all over the place. That front row is super interesting with Cannon Posey taking on the veteran Michael Facinto. We're underway.
And Facinto, heat race winner yesterday, gets kind of moved up the hill and up and over the berm goes the 14W Tyler Walton.
Haven't seen Tyler have the return to the shootout that he was probably looking for. Struggled a little bit last night going backwards in his winged Outlaw heat race and then turned around again tonight. Cannon Posey really worked over Facinto on that start. Did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, multi-time shootout winner. What? I'm the youngster coming through.
I'll tell you what. Cannon Posey is not lacking for resources or talent helping on that car. So let's take a look a second time at what exactly happened out there. And chain reaction ends up with Walton facing the wrong way.
Yeah, I couldn't see. There was a little bit of a little contact in the center of the corner that launched Walton around as...
We're going to go red. It looks like we have a medical situation outside of turn 3. And we'll talk about, I got to spend some time with Cannon Posey this summer. His dad, Justin, hit up myself and my brother-in-law, Hunter Schoenberg, and said, hey, I want to send him to work for you guys. And so he came over to the shop every single day, helped us work on the sprint car, wash tires, you know, whatever we needed him to do, sweep floors. And he's just a little guy walking around, but he's got a lot, really big work ethic and a big heart and, you know, just wants to be involved in racing one way or another. So really cool to see. And with that, I think we're going to Chris.
Yep, thanks, Clinton. We got Chase Porter here. Chase 2-1 with the wing on, 7-1 today without the wing. That car looked really, really good.
Yeah, man, feels great. Car is wonderful. I got the nicest piece I've ever had under me, and we're making do of it.
How do you feel now going into the rest of the week? You've set yourself up really well now for a couple of qualifiers.
Yeah, we're sitting pretty good. We just got to continue to do our job for 2 more races, and then hopefully we'll be good Sunday night.
All right, good job, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, there's Chase Porter, guys, one of the hotter drivers in the building right now, 2 for 2 on heat race wins.
Well, with that, Chris, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick time out as we are under red flag conditions right now for a medical situation. We will be back with more action as you're watching our live coverage of the 39th annual Tulsa Shootout here on Flow Racing.
Suspension has grown to become an industry leader in short track racing suspension, innovation, design, and performance. At CSI, we have a passionate staff of experienced racers that want to help you win. Since 2009, our customers have benefited from our outstanding customer support to win races all around the world. At our headquarters in Brownsburg, Indiana, we handle everything from sales, service, shipping, design, and manufacturing all under one roof. Visit our website to learn more about products and services we offer. Competition Suspension is race-proven, superior performance.
Want to experience victory like the Hyper Racing chassis has achieved over 10,000 times before? We will craft the ultimate dirt racing chassis, machine the highest quality and performance design components. We stock a massive inventory ready to pick, pack, and ship the minute you hit submit on the brand new hyperracing.com. With feature-winning technical help and Evo fuel injection, Hyper Racing is your partner to get you to victory lane.
Welcome back. Live coverage of the 39th Annual American Waste Control Tulsa Shootout powered by NOS Energy Drink. Back under yellow flag conditions after a brief red situation. Had a medical situation. We'll hopefully get an update in a little bit. But meanwhile, time to go back racing. Again, this is the Hyper Racing Outlaw non-wing division. Their 11th heat race on the day. We're on race number 36 of going up to 147. So we're going to do heat races and then have some Outlaw wing D and C mains tonight. Cannon Posey, Michael Facino will try it again. They're green off turn 4. This time, Facinto, who kind of got used up by Cannon Posey, makes a good adjustment, gets back around, and he'll take the point over the youngster from Indiana. And then a battle here for the 3rd spot, the 95, of Paige Moss trying to find a way around the outside, battling the Alex Midkiff car, that 11 machine. Riker Pace now to the outside, opening the door for Moss. They're side by side for position number 3.
Dalton Pereira flashing into your screen, the white with red. Black tail tank number 51. He's been awfully good on the West Coast. Seen him at Deming Speedway a handful of times, and aggression is basically his middle name. If there's a spot, he's going to look to come through and take it. It's paying off for him right now. Pereira's worked his way up into 4th.
Yeah, from the 8th starting position too, so that aggression is paying off as we continue to follow this battle with the 11A of Alex Midkiff going the wrong direction. Now has Sammy McNabb, who started at the tail of the field, trying to get through. No change at the front. It's still Facinto, who's now pulled about a full straightaway lead over Cannon Posey. Battle for 3rd, though, is heating up. Paige Moss up the hill. And Dalton Pereira is making a move. Pereira now to the outside of Moss, who goes back to the inside in 3 and 4. This is a good battle.
It's going to get interesting on this final lap because Moss can make that car awfully wide. And Pereira's going to try to stick it into a very little window coming into the corner. Can he get there? No, he cannot. As Moss can end up hanging on to 3rd, Pereira ends up settling for 4th.
That was full contact, full last 2 laps between those two.
So Michael Facinto picks up the heat race win. Cannon Posey, Paige Moss, Dalton Pereira again from that deep starting spot in the 8th position will come home 4th. Riker Pace, Alex Midkiff, Tyler Walton, and the rest of the field. Again, another look at the Joe's Racing Products ramp cam as we continue to roll through the morning hours here in Tulsa, just about 10 past 10 a.m. Central Time. Here's your lineup for heat race number 37. We got Chevy Boyer and Steven Snyder Jr. Speaking of guns from the East Coast, the Rising Sun Maryland driver will start 2nd. Cannon McIntosh, first we've seen of him at the shootout this year. He'll start 3rd on the outside, Cody Cooper Williams. Trey Marcham, a local Oklahoma native, inside of row 3. Colton McGimsey outside of him. Jonathan Beeson in the 8K will start at the inside of 4. Connor Chamberlain to his outside. Your final 2 starters, John Crowder and Dylan Sampson. Another really loaded heat race.
With the personalities and people involved here.
That's
and Marcham. It looks like Marcham, as you can see on the
blown up.
Right, look at the trail of fluid down the hill right when they fire the engines. So another name that we talk about as an A-main potential starter and a challenger for a driller is going to have to be visiting one of our D-mains.
It just seems like the last couple of years, the Marchams just haven't had the luck or, things fall their way to be in contention like we normally see. Things not changing for them this year as our lights are out.
Still, Snyder, McIntosh, and Beeson all in the same heat race. Green flag out. Let's see how this one sorts out. I'm expecting fireworks.
Fireworks right from the get-go here for battle for second. McIntosh going to knife his way through Steven Snyder Jr. So Cannon Mack and the D1 chassis for Dave Mack Barnhill Motorsports going to find the second position. Snyder Jr. trying to keep in tow. Then it's Beeson. So some heavy hitters behind your leader here early on.
It's a nice smooth line he's got working right through the middle of the racetrack. Finds moisture at corner entry, gets a good launch down the straightaway.
Big mistake there for Steven Snyder in third. He slipped up the track, but Jonathan Beeson not able to capitalize. Beeson just doesn't have the pace of their top three.
Hard 8 racing machine, of course, synonymous with this building. As the battle for the lead's going to start heating up, Chevy Boyer has got company in the form of Cannon McIntosh, Mr. Monday Night at the Chili Bowl. Now trying to challenge for a heat race win.
McIntosh driving deep into the turn, trying to find something. Pedals it on corner exit and loses ground that time around. Just 2 to go, and Cannon gonna have to reach deep into his bag of tricks to pull this one out.
Yeah, struggled just a little bit there in turn 2. 17 wins on the year for Cannon McIntosh, including 9 at Millbridge, but right now trying to track down Chevy Boyer as they come down to the checkered flag. And Chevy Boyer from the point's gonna take the win over Cannon McIntosh. Steven Snyder Jr. able to hang on to third over Jonathan Beeson, Cooper Williams, rounding out your top 5. McGimsey, Chamberlain, Crowder, Sampson, and Marcham a DNF. So that's how they'll finish. And you're right, Steven Snyder Jr., a little bit of mistake, couldn't quite keep pace with the top 2.
That did not play out how I thought it was going to, but we can talk about that again in a second as we go up top for a CSI Shocks interview and Connor Wade.
An on-wing Outlaw heat win for Michael Facento, the Hanford, California native. Michael looked really good, in control of that, in control of that heat race. Saw you a lot on the bottom. How'd the 65 car feel without the wings?
Felt really good, actually. More stable than we've been here in years past, for sure. I mean, if that first start don't come back, that little Posey kid, I mean, he's going to be good. He probably beats me there, so, thankful. It's what the shootout is, all about luck. So hopefully we can get behind the inversion and then hopefully go forward in qualifier.
Best of luck to you, Michael. Facento's only career start in non-winged Outlaw was back in 2014. He was 8th. Also an update on Trey Marcham. Trey said engine didn't blow. An issue with the oil filter is what prevented him from starting that heat race.
Thank you, Connor. Good updates there from the top of the ramp as lights are out coming to green.
Oh, wow.
Haley Deegan and Jake Andriotti, the front row. And yes, that is Haley Deegan from the NASCAR ranks. Andriotti running the Chase Briscoe racing machine that he won at Millbridge earlier this year. And we stay green as Andriotti pulls away from Deegan, but some trouble here toward the back of the field. We've got Cale McGee in the 46, Colby Sokol now to the outside. Sokol had a good run yesterday in the Outlaw Wing Division, trying to track down Deegan in the 38D. So a gaggle of cars from about third on back.
You're following Deegan. She's in the white and black with red 38 that's trying to find racing room in the third groove right now. Just not a whole lot up there for her, as she looks to be dropping potentially another spot to McGee. Flash up front, battle closer to your race lead.
Battle for second here at the halfway point. You're looking at Colby Sokol trying to make something happen as, again, Deegan fighting around the outside, working against Michael Hubert, also running at Millbridge Speedway this year. But Deegan, limited starts on the dirt stuff, of course, going to run NASCAR Xfinity next year. Got engaged to Chase Cabry earlier this year, and now caught herself in a battle as there's 3 cars. You got Hubert, McGee, Zimmerman, and Deegan is all sorts out of shape.
Nice side-by-side racing through the corner. She'll make a move to the inside now, trying to follow the path being plowed in front of her. As Hubert down low, trying to take a position away from the 11 of Ernst. Ernst in behind Miller as Jake Andriotti walks the dog in the Mahindra Tractors Chase Briscoe-owned car. We've got caution lights out on the racetrack and a checkered at the same time. So scoring's going to tell us here in a bit what happened, but we know your winner is Jake Andriotti off the front row, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some crews having a conversation up there because that start was ragged.
That's a pretty sloppy start there from the front row, but Jake able to kind of settle himself back in and get to the lead. Chris Moore, you got another interview with us for us.
Yes, sir. Chevy Boyer. Chevy, not an enviable position to be in on the pole of a really good heat race. You held them all off, man.
Yeah, I didn't practice my speech because I didn't think I was going to be able to get it done with those guys, but car was good. Fought a little bit in practice, fixed all the issues, got it buttoned up, and should be good in a qualifier. I don't think we'll be too far forward, but we can get something done.
Cannon got close to you there, kind of about the midpoint. Did you feel him, hear him back there at all?
No, I didn't really hear him. I was kind of rolling that slider line, so I knew he wasn't going to be able to make a move anyways. So, I mean, he was going to have to move me to get by me, so I wasn't too worried about it.
Good job.
Thank you.
How about that, guys? An impressive drive. Chevy Boyer holding off some big dogs for a heat race win.
Indeed it was. As race number 39 on track, Tanner Tinsley, Dwight Green, Gavin Miller, Nolan Bartley, Dason Pursley, Dustin Phillips, TJ Stark, Logan Seavey, and a whole host of others were green.
Much better start this time by as they battle. Oh, one around, and that's your leader, and into the wall hard. Couldn't make that out. Was that the 9P?
Yeah.
Okay, so that Dustin Phillips caught the wall big time, facing the other way. Looks like the Tanner Tinsley machine. So Tinsley looped it around off the point, and Dustin Phillips letting him know how he feels about that.
Good on the officials for making sure his glove gets back in the car there. And
hey, those are expensive.
Be even more mad if he got back to the pits and his glove was missing.
Yeah.
Be like, well, I threw it.
Oh, he's back for more.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure he can read his lips.
Yeah. Helmet muffles, the sound, so.
Think he goes back for one more? He's taking a walk.
We'll hopefully get a look at that, but yeah, there was definitely a little contact, but.
Right, I would say Brian's down there.
Yeah.
He's brave enough to step in on that one. Brian, take us away.
Yeah, you were sharing some words there with your competition. Tell me what you were telling him.
I was pretty much letting him know that if you're going to drive a race car, at least use your brain when you're doing it. So, it is what it is. I'm 18. I spend all my own money on this, so I'm just going to let these rich guys just come tear my stuff up every weekend, but it is what it is.
All right, best of luck to the 9P.
Thank you, Brian. Yep, Dustin Phillips certainly upset as he'll get the ride back to the pit area. Tinsley able to continue as we look at the iBox Spring instant replay. Tinsley, man, that was a big impact.
His anger might be, okay, yeah. That is what it was.
Yeah, Tinsley just back your leader and
that happened so fast.
Nowhere to go.
Right?
CV with a good job to not get collected in that.
Yeah. Dwight Green, the biggest beneficiary from that, is now our first fence repair of the 39th edition of this race. And it won't be the last. Front impact towards some of the chain links, so we'll get those fixed. Terry Maddox having the field cut through the infield just to give the safety officials plenty of room to make the repair.
It's amazing just by the end of this weekend how many zip ties, Canadians would call them zap straps, that end up on this fence to keep it in position.
And 2 KKM cars now will look like they'll start 1-2 with Miller and Pursley. Gavin Miller, your KKM Give Back winner back in October. And of course, Pursley, we know what he can do in this building as well. While we have a minute, Brian Ward, what can you tell us from the infield?
Guys, about 6 races ago, the officials were out on the track. They were looking for a transponder that had fallen off a race car. So I walked out there with them. I found part of a gear that had broke off of one of the cars. it was kind of buried there in the dirt. And then about 2 races later, Dylan Schott pulled to the infield. I could see the chain was off of his car, walked over to see if it was going to bind up on it. His gear completely gone as well, lost somewhere on the racetrack. So 2 gear failures. Not sure if that is because the chain's too tight, because they are just driving him so dang hard early on this morning. But we are already breaking gears on the first full day.
You know, back in the day, Clinton, we used to run split sprockets, so that would be a perfectly good piece.
Yeah. You worked at a parts supplier. How often do you guys sell gears? I feel like that's not something people replace until they just go bad.
They should replace them a lot more often than what they do.
I think so.
Green flag is out.
Gavin Miller on the point with Nolan Bartley and Jason Persley there. So the 2 KKM Sawyer by Bullet by Sawyer's now on the inside. Lap 1 will go to Miller. Bartley trying to challenge now, keeping up for that second position. So a sandwich of KKM cars here at the front.
It's a good 1-2-3 battle right now as Bartley not letting Miller get too far. However, that bottom wide open for Persley to sneak on through and take position number 2 as we approach the completion of lap number 3.
So the team cars will settle it out. Bartley will be relegated back to 3rd. Here comes Seavey, who again originally took the green in 8th. So Logan already up to 4th, looking for 3rd. Gonna take that number 77S to the top side of the racetrack, now to the bottom in 1 and 2.
I asked Logan last night what was going on in his winged Outlaw heat race. He said, dude, I just suck in these things. And my car was actually really good, and I'm just not very good in these things. So he's having a lot of fun down here, still trying to figure out how to drive it, which is weird to say out of multi-time USAC champion and Chili Bowl winner.
He was great in the lightning sprint. I mean, it's not a gigantic leap from one to the other, but at the same time, a little self-admission there.
Yeah, you're defending Chili Bowl champ with a little humility running these micros, trying to get back adjusted to him. Still trying to get past Nolan Bartley for 3rd. This time he'll pull even and lose a little momentum down the back straightaway. Checkered flag is out, and Gavin Miller will lead every lap. Jason Persley 2nd. Bartley will hold off Seavey for 3rd. Tanner Tinsley will cross the line in 5th. Cleveland Newman, Dwight Green, TJ Stark, and Dustin Phillips is how they'll finish. So your give back winner and one of the young rising stars on the midget race, had a great Extreme Outlaw Midget Series season. He'll pick up a heat race win here at the Tulsa Shootout. And you know, I think we talked about yesterday, Chad Boat, the number of cars he's brought, 14 this year to the shootout. Keith is stepping up his game as well on the micros. It seems like every year it doubles in size. So let's go up top, another heat race interview, CSI heat race interview at the top of the ramp with Connor.
Well, cool to see Jake Andriotti getting a heat race win. Of course, driving the Chase Briscoe owned micro. How's that partnership going so far here at the shootout?
Yeah, no, it's definitely pretty cool to win a heat race in the name of Chase Briscoe. Can't thank him enough for letting us take the whole car out here. And yeah, it's going pretty good. So we're starting Poland, the next A-class wing, looking to get the Mahindra Tractors and Ford Racing Performance Racing School micro another win. Just gotta go forward.
You were really good in micros in California back in the day. Haven't really ran a ton of micros as of late. Are you comfortable in them again?
Yeah, no, this is all different running a Hyper, but you know they're helping us a lot out with the setup. But yeah, I ran the Hyper the first time at Millbridge and we got a win at that. So looking to get more here.
Thank you guys as we're underway, heat race number 40, and already out to the point is Scotty Milan in that Joby Miller Motorsports machine. Alec Quiggle, Will Scribner, your top 3 right now. Braden Jones, and then it's a gaggle of race cars. That's the A3B of Shane Weeks finding his way through the middle. Jet Yantis in the 4J stuck on the bottom.
Weeks is running right on that ragged edge right now. He is either going to be fast or spectacular, or one way or the other.
Oh,
let's watch him as there's some cars having some handling problems a little bit further back in the field. Everything's settling down in the mid-pack now as Weeks, the blue and yellow 83, has worked his way up into 5th and seems to be putting some better laps together. Up front, Milan and Quiggle, 1 and 2 here in this field, and it's Quiggle looking strong up on the high side, looks to circle him coming out of the corner. Bid for the lead is on, even Steven at the line, give it to Quiggle.
Yeah, not running the total top of the racetrack, but's found that moisture in that upper middle groove and able to get around the Scotty Milan machine. Scotty running some sprint car stuff this year, getting away from the micros. And now Quiggle will set the pace. Braden Jones up to that third position. Looks like the 4J of Jet Yantis has shut her down into the infield as the white flag is out for Quiggle.
One more time around for Quiggle. Hey, I called it. Weeks in the 83. And
to Garrett Massey in the 23, and that was dangerous coming down the hill.
Quite the collision between the two of them through the corner, and sets us up for a green-white checkered restart.
Yeah, Weeks was about a human pinball for most of that race.
Just got a little too sauced up in the middle of the corner. Oh, tell me we didn't high center the quad. Or for you.
No, we're good on that. From Brian Ward, you're down there in the infield.
Yeah, the front end's broke on Weeks' car here. That hit that he took when he was turned around, kind of a reverse T-bone there. So got the front axle pretty good. The left front spindle, can't quite tell what else here, but couldn't turn the car. He was trying to push it up over the berm, and the car wouldn't turn the way he was wanted to. Got a lot of toe in, so they're going to put him on the hook and take him up the ramp.
All right, Brian, thanks for the update. I believe we've got Chris Moore with a CSI Shocks interview up top.
Yeah, I've got Gavin Miller here, guys. Gavin, when you're driving a KKM car, you got Dason Pursley as a teammate, maybe an opportunity to get some notes off each other. Instead, you're in the same heat race battling for a win. How fun was that, and how'd that feel?
Yeah, it was fun. You know, I learn off of him. I ask him for advice and stuff. You know, he knows a lot because he's been racing a little longer than me. So, you know, it was nice to get the win and get out to the lead.
Now maybe you get an opportunity to talk to him. He followed you there for quite a bit. Maybe learn a little bit more, too.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and ask him how he felt and what he was doing. But I couldn't really see because, you know, I was out front. But
all right, there you go, guys. One of the KKM drivers, Gavin Miller, a heat race winner here at the Tulsa Shootout.
Yeah, and a good young shoe, of course, was the National Midget Rookie of the Year in USAC this year as well. As the lights are out, we'll come back to green. It'll be a 2-lap shootout for Alec Quiggle and Scotty Milan. Braden Jones holding on to that third position. Scribner in fourth. Shane Weeks now was relegated back after that incident, so Trey Schleicher in the 48S will be up to fifth. So 2-lap dash to finish this Outlaw non-wing heat race, and we're back underway. Milan with the slider for the lead. Down the hill, crossover move for Alec Quiggle. Through turns 3 and 4, the white flag is out, and Quiggle will lead, but Milan had a good restart, but now starting to fade back just a little bit.
Quiggle making this look easy on the exit of the second corner, and Alec Quiggle put some points in the bank. Checker flag is out. Milan 2, and Jones crosses the line in third.
So Quiggle took the initial green in third, so a 3-1 for Alec. As you look at the rest of the finishing order. Picking them up and putting them down here in the Hyper Racing Outlaw non-wing heat race division. Again, 39 total for this division. Of course, still to come plenty, including our restricted heats, A-class wing heats, and junior sprint heats before we go elimination time. Here's your next one, the Outlaw non-wings. Race number 41, Hayden Hansen, your pole sitter. Dylan Cadis to the outside. Austin Wood has had success in this building in the 2W, will start third. There's Kyle Busch, had a decent run in the Outlaw wing. We'll see what he can do starting fourth in non-wing. Reese Shelton and Preston Dalton making up row number 3. 7th and 8th starters, Randy Wagner Jr. And the rest of the field, as we get set to go green, lights are out. As Hansen and Cadis, your front row, side by side, we're green, and what a start for Dylan Cadis on the outside. Contact, and Kyle Busch is up the hill.
Busch, rough start, ends up punting into the wall, but car's still rolling, and he's making some ground on the bottom, trying to scoot his way back through.
That's Spencer Hill and Randy Wagner Jr. He's trying to get through. He dispatches both of them as Wagner Jr. into the wall and up and over and into the fence, bringing out the caution.
I don't think we've brought it up this year, but here at the Expo Raceway, we caution most everything rather than just straight stop them. We've got the ability within the facility to roll them far enough away from the safety workers, etc., that we can keep the cars up and going. It saves us a little bit of time on wreck clearage.
Kyle Busch showed his displeasure. I believe that. I'm trying to figure out who that was.
We started in the row next to race number 41.
Austin Wood?
Yeah, Wood was his row mate.
but I don't think
he was
that was
going
Wood.
after the wrong guy.
Yeah. Not happy, and it looks like...
Whatever the car in front of him is
Yeah.
who he was hitting and throwing finger signs at.
Was it Preston Dalton? We'll take a look at the iBox Springs instant replay on the flip with Randy Wagner Jr. You see him at the top of the screen, right rear into the wall. That typically does not end well, and it did not there. Take a look from the top cam. Just a little too high. Not really a cushion yet, Clinton, to grab onto.
No, lots of crumbles up there to spin your tires in and slide. Looks like...
Still trying to figure out the lineup as well.
We're
Cadis,
going to go complete restart maybe here.
while we have a minute, we try to get the lineup figured out. Let's go back up top for a CSI interview with Connor Wade.
Yeah, we'll chat with Alec Quiddle real quick after a heat race win. Late race restart, what'd you have to do to keep the lead?
Well, I was fast up top, so I entered up high, and he showed me, and then I just dropped underneath and just tried to protect for those last 2 laps.
Alec Quiddle, after his first feature start here at the shootout, he had a 3rd place finish in a 12,000 to win race at US 24 in Indiana earlier this year. So he showed some potential to do good against good competition.
Thank you, Connor. So lights are out. We do know Dylan Cadis is at the point. Still trying to figure out who Kyle Busch was mad at. Reese Shelton, not it, because he's
I think
scheduled
it
to
was
start 4th.
the pole setter, Hayden Hansen, potentially.
Okay. Well, it's Cadis, Wood. That's your front 2.
So back around and into action we go. We'll see if Kyle gets up to one of those drivers and decides to rough him up a little bit. He's not afraid of laying a Nerf bar. Fender in his world most of the time.
Busch now to the inside is Shelton.
Yeah, he has a really good race car right now. Able to drive by guys.
Caught the slick just a little bit. He's got Spencer Hill up ahead in that Ford machine. He's going to go top shelf this time. Should have the momentum.
He's at least back to even because he started outside row 2. So he's neutral on points right now. As down to the bottom, slipping past Hill. Caution lights on.
We're just having a battle for the lead shape up as well as the 3D of Preston Dalton came to a stop, and looks like at least the motor's running. Will get turned back around. I think we decided it was Hayden Hansen, the pole sitter, 319, that kind of blue, green, black, and orange machine. Again, the number pretty small, but that initial start, Kyle was not happy. Now they'll start with a car in between.
All right, we're going to get an IBOC replay here, and what you're going to see on Busch, and let's see if his anger is targeted correctly. Oh yeah, that's your pole sitter.
Wow.
Did a good job to save it there.
No kidding.
Not only save it, but still make a good lap and not lose too many spots.
It's been the culprit twice now of passing the car, but not at the right spot on the racetrack with the line scoring and have to get put back on these yellows.
Back under the green flag, still have 5 laps to go as Wood will challenge Cadis for the top spot. Hansen to the top side around Spencer Hill. Here comes Kyle Busch around Hill, looking for more, but can't go anywhere right now because they're still side by side.
Let's see if he forces his way in. Right there. If he comes right across that nose, don't be surprised. Kyle Busch 5th to 3rd in one corner. And now, bad timing, yellow flag again.
And
he's going to have to do it a 3rd time.
But this time he crossed the start-finish line, so it should count. Marek Pipe.
But did everybody?
Yeah, we don't split caution.
No split scoring here inside the expo. So normally it would be a lot of sanctioning bodies. You see leader +1 crosses the line, and that completes all those guys that have completed that lap stay. Here, the entirety of the field has to cross for that lap to be complete.
Consistent with the rules that they've operated by for a long time.
Yep.
Skagit Speedway, we split caution no matter where it comes out in the field. So
they may just see, though, because the 2 that didn't were the 2 in the accident. We'll see if they decide to make the call. We'll keep an eye if Kyle does go back 2 spots.
So far, so good.
Yeah, and on our scoring loop, it does have Kyle in 3rd, so.
It was close. We were waiting for the Preston Dalton machine.
He may have some motivation. Driving like a pissed off teenager.
Yeah, well, Kyle's often at his best when faced in that situation. We'll see what we can do from third as Cadis leads him back to green, 3 to go.
Cadis and Wood are both very good drivers and good race cars in front of them, so this is not going to be a gift. Watch how they attack this racetrack. Wood starts bottom, drifts out to the middle. Sorry, Cadis started bottom, drifted out to the middle. Wood trying to get it around the outside as we've got 1 to go the next time by. Kyle Busch looking for opportunity as Wood down low looking for the lead.
Side by side, Wood on the bottom, Cadis a little love tap of the wall on the outside, opening the door for Kyle Busch for second. Busch up and over the berm, won't have the momentum this time. Austin Wood now off of turn 4 will take the win. Side by side for second, Cadis hangs on. So Austin Wood, Dylan Cadis, Kyle Busch 5 to 3. Then it was Hill, Hansen, Shelton, Dalton, Bailey, Pipe, and Wagner Jr. And a little congratulatory love tap from Cadis. Good hard racing there in this heat race.
Next heat race staged in the Joe's Racing Products Ramp Cam, live here in our coverage of the 39th annual American Waste Control Tulsa Shootout, presented by NOS Energy Drink. I'm Caleb Hart, he's Chris Wilner and Clinton Boyles. Here in the booth with you this morning as we're on heat race number 42 for the Hyper Racing Non-Wing Outlaw Division. Chase Spicola and Nathan Smith, Alan Sane, Ricky Holbrook, Corey Brown, Tim Buckwalter, Brian Diebrick, and Landon Gasling, Enzo Spicola, and Trevor McIntyre making up the 10 cars coming out for the next heat race.
We're going through heat race 64 for this division, so still have plenty to go. Another solid lineup here.
You can always find at least one good story, much less race car driver in every heat race here. And sometimes it's the ones that you can't that surprise you with how good they are. Green flag is out here on this heat.
Spicola out to the point. Looked like on the outside lane, that 0-1 of Alan Sane got a little bit out of shape, lost a position. So Nathan
caution.
Smith, and we'll have caution out on the speedway for the 10X machine coming to a stop. Dylan Diebrick, Brian Diebrick.
Diebrick's used to have those all yellow cars. You could darn near call them the banana wagons. Yellow with black numbers on them. So we can take a look at the iBox Springs replay. Beautiful purple, white, and gold motif. And just right in the middle of the corner, locks her up. And kept it going, at least through the turn. But enough to bring the caution lights on.